Hello, my friends, and welcome to a space where pleasure is treasured, relaxation is not what you think it is, and life firing on all cylinders is what we're about. If you are somebody who wakes up every day asking for way more, consider this your happy place. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm your host, Heather Nichols. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm here with y'all this week from Budapest, Hungary, doing a little tour of Europe, a big tour of Europe right now. And I don't remember where I last recorded the last one. I think it was from the castle in Italy. I've been in Spain and now Hungary for about 4 days. I'll be here, and then I'm going to Poland, and then I'm going to Croatia, and then I'm going to England. So lots of travels still. It's been a beautiful time, a beautiful summer exploration of so many amazing places and things and landscapes and people and creations. It's been epic. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is relaxation, and we have this conversation in Access Consciousness about what we call the elementals, and the elementals are really fun energies that people love to play with. The elementals are energies that have a particular vibration that tends to exponentialize magic and miracles. And the elementals are energies like gratitude, peace, stillness, silence, allowance, vulnerability, dedication to creating a future, happiness, laughter. There's some other ones. I mean, it's not like it's a complete list, it's not a defined thing. But one of the energies that I personally tend to add to that list is relaxation. And this morning, I was really having this really fun experience. My partner, Brian, and I were on our way to the airport in Madrid, and he was very stressed. He tends to just get stressed when he's going to fly. And we were driving in Madrid, which is not the easiest city to drive in. And I was, I was noticing myself actually kind of getting caught up into his energy because it was quite frenetic and stressed out. And then I was like, well, I'd like to actually just have me, and this is one of those things we do. We go into other people's worlds, and, we give ourselves up. We give up our own peace. We give up our own silence. We give up our own, those energies that are the energies of the elementals, that if we be them, if we embody them, if we have them in our world, they allow us to have so much more magic and miraculousness in our lives. And when we don't, when we're not in that vulnerability, the gratitude, the relaxation, the peace, the happiness, all the things that are the opposite of those energies, right? Obviously, that's stress. There's not a lot of magic that happens when stress is in the house, and I think we all, hopefully you've had some experience of what can occur when you relax, when you're happy, when you're joyful. We talk about this a lot in Access Consciousness, how money follows joy, money follows creation, and money is just sort of a byproduct, really, of being happy, and creating a beautiful life. It's something that comes to the party to support the party if you invite it and you're willing to have it. And we in our world, in this world that we live in, is like, it's so everything is about going and chasing after what it is that you want, which takes you out of that space of the elementals, out of the ease, the joy, and the glory of what is truly possible for you with creation. So anyway, so we're on the way to the airport, and I was watching we had the navigation on the screen of the car, and I was watching it, and I started to say to Brian, "Hey, what if you could relax?" And I wasn't, I hate facilitating people when they're not asking for facilitation. I don't like it when people do that to me. People do that to me often, more often than I would like. It makes me kind of crazy. I don't want to do that to other people. There was a moment after he had calmed down a little bit where I was like, "Hey, maybe you could relax. And he was willing to receive it, and he kind of took it and started to chill out. And it was so cool because the time on the navigation that it was telling us that it was going to take us to get to the airport was actually decreasing. So as he was relaxing and I was relaxing and I was expanding the space, we were both expanding the space of relaxation. The time that it was going to take us to get to our destination was getting shorter. And it was, you could say, well, that's not magic. That was probably just a coincidence. And that's fine. I love to believe in magic. I love to believe in magic and miracles, and I love to see things as the magic and miracles that I see them as. And I don't I don't need to, have a reality that matches anybody else's, or, have any sort of indication that like yeah, it's like I'm willing to know what I know and have my reality. And for me, it was like, this is my reality, that when you relax, you're going to get there faster. When you relax, your business is going to grow easier and faster. When you are happy and you're joyful and you're enjoying your life, things are going to work better and greater. It's one of those, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. And it's so interesting when we choose to not relax. And this is where I want to kind of hone in on the conversation of relaxation, because when we choose to not relax, which is a choice, as relaxation is also a choice, when we choose to not relax, we are telling the universe, I need to wind myself up here. I need to get myself in a tizzy. I need to speed up. I need to stress myself out. I need to jack up my nervous system and my, cortisol levels or whatever, because we're really functioning at that point from the point of view that, like, if I stress, I'm going to make this happen more. Like, stress is an energy that's required here. So I'm going to choose to stress so that I can make this, more. I can just make sure I'm doing my part, in making this happen. And what if that's just not at all what's required? And we it's one of those things that is so again, it's an everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. And it's also something that one of the things that I've really been focusing on for myself is that this is a choice. Choosing to relax in a moment that could be stressful, choosing to chill the fuck out, when there's no reason logically to chill the fuck out, is like, that's so, um, it's such a different choice. It's such it's a choice that like, it takes a lot of presence actually, and it takes a lot of awareness to just recognize what it is that we're doing, and to really see, like, I could choose right now. I could get really present even in a stressful situation, And I could choose right now to actually, do something different. And that is like, it just even to have the presence to know that is really cool. And then to have the capability, the ability, and the desire to choose something different in those moments is also, it's a bit of a muscle that we have to kind of exercise and strengthen. But when we do, that is where we consciously choose to open the doors to magic. So any of those energies that you can choose, that you choose to bring in, and you're like, there's no reason logically why I should relax right now, but I'm going to, you know. There's no reason logically why I should get vulnerable right now. That's another one. Like, we don't want to get vulnerable when the shit's hitting the fan and there's a lot of, um, there's a lot of like, there's fighting energy, or there's, we want to like protect ourselves, or we want to, um, have any sort of like, uh, we like, if there's a reason to put up our barriers, basically, we don't want to get vulnerable in that moment. But that's the exact time where if you do, you will turn up the magic so dynamically. Turn it up and turn it on and start to really exponentialize the possibilities for magic based on whatever it is that you are doing. Um, I have some background noise, so pardon the background noise. Um, uh, so, recording a podcast when there's other people around is kind of an interesting thing sometimes. Um, so anyway, uh, but think about this. Like, look at the situations in your life that tend to be stressful. Where you tend to lose yourself. You lose access to the elementals: gratitude, vulnerability, trust, peace, stillness, silence, happiness, joy, the creation of a future. Get a sense of when, like, the circumstances of your life where you lose access to those energies. And those are the very moments where you want to bring them in, where you want to calm yourself down, slow yourself down, get present, expand, and start to really see, like, what can I choose here that's going to be different? Yes, of course, when you go to the airport, you need to be stressed. But is that even yours? A lot of times it's like we're just tapped into everybody else, and we're like, how many people that are also on their way to the airport, that are at the airport, that are going to be on the plane with you, all those things. We have awareness of all these things, of all these energies. How many of those people are actually stressed out right now? You're just supposed to be stressed when you fly. Well, what if you just went, no, I'm not going to? What if you were walking around in the middle of a busy, busy city? You know, Everybody's on their way to work and they're walking fast and they're looking down, or they're looking at their phone, or they're checked out, or they're just like trying to get there as fast as they can. What if you were walking slowly, enjoying the trees, looking up at the sky? Um, Being these different energies, it takes a lot of presence again with ourselves and a lot of choice to be these different energies. But when we do, we are literally like opening so many doors all around, all over the place. So many different doors to the magic and the miraculousness of creation that is available. And when those doors start to open, that's when you got to acknowledge it, and be like, hey, you know what? I'm actually, like, those numbers went down because I created more relaxation in the space. I know that, you know, and it's not even something that can be proven or needs to be proven, or it totally depends on your point of view. I choose to have the point of view that I can create miraculously and can create with a lot of magic, and that relaxation is one of the energies that I choose as much as I possibly can. There's never a reason to not be relaxed for me. There's never a reason to not be vulnerable. There's never a reason to be in judgment or not be in allowance. There's never a reason to not be happy, not be laughing, not be joyful, not be creating a greater future. There's never a reason to not be peaceful. And so for me, what I would like to do is actually really pursue those energies so much more in my own life than the things that I think I need to pursue. When you pursue the things that you think you need to pursue, um, it's very easy to lose sight of the energies of being that make our lives greater, because we tend to get focused on the things that we think we need to pursue that are going to make our lives greater. Like if my business grows, my life will be greater. If I have more money flows, my life will be greater. If my body is happy, my life will be greater. If I have great relationships, my life will be greater. Well, maybe, but what if you flipped it on its head and you chose the energies that will make your life greater no matter what? They're not circumstantial. They're not based on external circumstances or people or situations. And instead, you prioritize those energies that elicit magic and miracles, allow you to enjoy right here, right now. You may not really know how to do that, and that's okay. It's just something you've got to play with, and the tools of access consciousness are so fantastic for starting to create a reality of choice. And as you do that, you just, you really get to have, like, you create life on your terms, that's for sure. You start to function in a really different way from the rest of the world. And you start to just have something really different, that is, you know, you're giving yourself the gift of the beauty of what's possible, what's choosable now, and the gift of finding out what can show up from those choices and those spaces as you open the doors to magic. There will probably be things that show up in your life that you didn't even know that you desired, that you didn't even know existed, simply because you're choosing them, because um, and the universe can now show up to surprise you and be like, you didn't even know this was possible, but check this out. And then you're like, wow, that's so cool. But you stay with the peace, you stay with the relaxation, you stay with the vulnerability and the allowance and the gratitude and all of those energies. And you never leave. Like, what if you never left you and you never left those spaces? You never left those energies behind, so that you could continuously have a life of that. And it's one of the main things in all of this is you cannot see yourself as a victim and have what I'm talking about. You might be living in a really shitty situation. You might be in a tough relationship. You might be having a lot of difficulty financially. You might be living in a really intense part of the world. There's so much going on right now, politically and all of that stuff. But your suffering is not going to make the world a greater place. You might think you need to suffer because you need to, like, be in there with everybody else having a hard time right now. But your suffering does not create the world as a greater place. It might be a way to try to prove that you have empathy. But what if you didn't have to prove that you have empathy? What if you just care about people and you care about the world, and adding these energies that are deeply peaceful and joyful and easeful and relaxed and, about the future, is one of the most vital things we can do for the world right now. And then the magic can show up in your life. And as it does, it can also show up in the world. That's part of creating a greater future. That's part of the gift of profit, really. When profit is very much about creating a greater future. It's not just about money. It's really about the profitability of a greater future. And when you can do that, everything changes and everything is different. So that's my little quickie podcast for today, invitation for you. And I hope that was a contribution to you. I am really excited to be exploring these energies in my next round of the Generative Business Pods that starts at the end of August. Starts, I think, around the 20th of August. We don't have the title of it yet. I'm still kind of playing with it. But to me, this is a lot of what it's going to be about, is these energies and embodying them. And the Generative Business Pods is a 6-month creation intensive program for people that want to really embody the tools of access consciousness and really like the intimacy with you that allows you to create everything that you would like to create, to know what's true for you, and to create from these spaces so that there is a lot of miraculousness in your life and in your business. And you get to do it in a way that is honoring of you and relaxed and not giving you up for anybody. When you give you up for other people or other things or for business or for money or whatever, it never yields greater, ever. So what if you didn't have to give you up and you could instead just truly enjoy the adventure of creation as the magical creature that you are? So that's what the Business Pods is about. We'll be starting in August and going for 6 months. And it's one of those programs that just massively gifts to people in ways that I can't even put into words. It's very much a magical space. So you're invited to come and join us if you would like to, and continue on with some of these really cool generative conversations. So take care, and I will see you next week. From where will I be next week? I don't know where I'll be recording the podcast, but maybe Poland, maybe another one here, maybe Croatia. I don't know. We'll see. Take care. Thank you for joining me for the Creation of Living podcast. If this conversation was inspiring to you, share the love. To work privately with me or for info on my upcoming classes and retreats, go to heathernichols.com. Have a beautiful day, and remember that the world thrives when you do.